so start with the weakest one. David calls himself a hipster. You know, likes pretentious stuff. He was disabled before it was cool. and it still ain't cool.
You know, I always thought I was as far away from the Nazi ideology as can be. But yet here I stand roasting a Jew.
David's biological father left the family when David was only 6. I guess that's when he realized David will never be able to run after him.
Tamas's first contact with his father was over a phone call when Tamas was 10. His father talked about how awesome his life is without him, and he ended the phone call with, "Take care, because I won't."
David first went to school when he was 7, although he did leave the house when he was 5.5.
Tamas has a disabled hip that stems from complications at birth. He slipped out of his mom's hands as she tried to choke him.
David looks like such a homeless mess that his second biggest source of income is people just throwing coins at him whenever he stops to tie his shoes.
Tamas had a threesome with another guy because apparently he thinks it's not gay to get fucked in the ass by another dude while kissing a girl. But on the bright side, it was his first physical contact with his father.
David likes bragging about having sex with his girlfriend, which sounds like bullshit, but you can always tell when they did it because it's the only time David ever refuses to take a seat.
I'm trying not to be too mean to Tamas because he's a lonely guy, because since his grandma died of colon cancer, he's the only sick asshole in the family.
I think we all tried to write a joke about Tamas having a threesome with another guy, and no one came anywhere near it. The ultimate perfection. As David did. I'm not sorry because I don't like either of you, but David fucking cleaned your clock in that.
Luke, what do you think?
Fucking hell. Despite Tamas's brilliant joke about him leaving school when he was leaving for school when he was 5.5. Yeah, that was excellent. David, you fucking cleaned up there, mate.
Well, despite the fact that David only brought one fist to a fist fight,
If my karma has told me anything, he already has. Oh man,
actually just glad that I didn't have to roast it because you motherfuckers, like, honestly, I couldn't tell who was joking because they look like variations on a theme. Like David just looks like the aborted fetus of one of Tamas's rape victims. All right, but David is the clear winner for round one. So we're moving on to round two. Round two, they're gonna have 1 minute each to just wail on each other. Tamas, step up your game. And you went first last time, right? So now, David, you're gonna go first. 1 minute on the clock. Fight! 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 Fight!
Tamas told me when he was little he changed schools 5 times. No wonder, considering his ugliness, his Jewism, and his disabled hip, for the bullies he was basically a buffet. Tamas fancies himself a ladies' man, and he brags about that he has to fight off women off him with a stick after they lounge at him with pepper spray. Told me he prefers one-night stands. As if you get to prefer. Women sleep with you once because they learn from their mistakes. And every time after a woman sleeps with you and she leaves your apartment, she's crying and promising herself that she will go through life with more dignity. You are basically the human equivalent of the Saw movie franchise. And when he said he prefers one-night stands, he brought Jewism to another level. He went from having a circumcised dick to being one.
So David's mother works as a Bowen therapist, which is the spiritual holistic thing, which is actually not a thing. She just needed a cover-up story to explain to David why all those men keep coming and going. Also, David's stepdad, also the man his mom is dating at the moment, is a sculptor, because obviously her first attempt at a David doesn't quite resemble Michelangelo's one. So she decided to stop taking chances. David's dad is in a wheelchair due to a motorcycle accident. And he's also an optician, making glasses, which didn't make him see that tree any better. So David, being a son of a low-class hooker and a failed optician, I can see where you don't get your talents from. David had a gig in Graz, which he had to cancel because there was no reservations, which means the only thing lower than people's respect for you are your ticket sales.
All right, that was round two! All right! So judges, we'll start with Kelly this time. What did you think?
I was equally uninspired for that round. So
That's a very fair assessment.
I think it was a tie, actually. That round was a tie.
All right, so a tie from Ochello.
Very close, but I'm going to give it to Tamas for the David sculpture joke.
Jack, what about you?
Again, very, very close, but David's pepper spray joke wasn't.
All right, so we have one for David, one for Tamas, and we have a tie. So that makes it a dead heat right now. Let's turn to the audience. What do you guys think? Was it David? What about Tamas?
I think it's pretty close.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Only cheer for the person that you want to win. Do you want David to win? Do you want Tamas to win? All right, Tamas, that is good. As comedian, because I can go on to round 3 without me having to just be like, fuck it, let's just do it anyway. Let's keep the spirit your competition alive. You guys have any jokes that you guys want to say about these guys?
Well, I don't really want to pick apart the differences in the contestants. I'd rather celebrate the similarities. For example, Tamas is Jewish and David's disabled, which means if God's real, they're both going to hell.
I gotta say, I do like. What people don't know about Jew. Have I mentioned that you're Jewish yet? I wasn't. Okay. Yeah. As a proud Jew, Tamas has a lot of Jewish role models like Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, and Harvey Weinstein. Tamas, how do you speak 3 languages and still not understand the word no? Did you want to throw it in the ring?
Tamas, when he was younger, Tamas's party trick was to suck off a dog for €5. It's all very well, but what's a dog going to do with €5? David's girlfriend is Mexican, so he's very much like Donald Trump. He's got shit hair. Unlike Trump, David realises that you need Mexicans to do the job that your own countrymen won't do.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I was going to try to do some jokes about Tamas, but I didn't really know that much about him because he's done the same 10 jokes every time I've seen him. And actually, I realized the most fascinating thing about him is he doesn't wash his hands after he pees. Right? Isn't that true?
Was there a joke coming?
No, this is an expose. No, it is. And what's the reason you don't wash your hands after you pee?
I do, you're just immune to sarcasm.
I've seen you walk out of the bathroom and try to shake people's hands. So what I was going to tell you is, bro, here, the water is cleaner than in Hungary, so you can wash your hands, like, here.
That is the pettiest roast joke I've ever heard.
You've never seen him shake his dick and then try to shake your hand.
Why were you watching him shake his dick? Oh no, I have not seen him shake his dick. Shame on me.
It's while I'm washing my hands. I'll see him shaking his dick. It's just weird.
That was some sort of eye contact with me. Alright, I'm gonna do,
What you guys don't know is Okello doesn't vaccinate his kids or himself, so when he means he's going to kill tonight, he means it. All of us. Epidemic kill by some shit we cured 80 years ago. So
Wow, a vaccination joke.
It's better than a not washing your hands joke.
Alright, David, I'll watch you shake his hand next time.
Okay. Don't leave me hanging, you dickhead. He's just like trying to work his penis in my hand.
Hey, he loves guys.
I gotta say, before we get this going, I want to say one last thing to David. David, it amazes me how much you look like Falco after the accident. This is just what happens when you let the Habsburgs keep interbreeding. Alright, so we have David with the first round, we have Tamas with the second round, so this third round decides it all. Are you guys ready? Alright, then Tamas is going to start this round off, so let's get it going. Fight! 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 Fight!
David has a hideous scar on his back from an operation he had to have for his arm, but knowing what his mother does for a living, I think that's just another cover-up story that she sold your kidneys for HIV medication.
When Tamas's grandma died of cancer, it felt for him like his circumcision all over again. Another wrinkly thing that was taken from him much too soon.
Mexican girlfriend on Tinder, he instantly fell in love with the idea of having some diversity in his basement. Why, oh She fell in love with how much cocaine David can fit up his anus.
Tamas is working at a wine bar, so he has a job where he has to beg for tips, and still he has to live together with another Jew to pay the rent. He's the living proof that there is absolutely no truth in the phrase Arbeit macht frei.
David once broke a guy's nose for bullying him, which sounds like kind of a feature given circumstances, but the guy in question was paralyzed from the neck down. And also it was his dad, David. David being asked to take out the trash does not count as bullying.
Tamas has arthritis in every joint, so although he has the physical appearance for it, he's useless for child labor.
You fucker. I really forgot that one. That was really after recent elections, David was legitimately worried that his girlfriend is going to get deported, which would have been devastating because she would have figured out that there are other ways to cross the ocean than in a cardboard box in a cargo ship.
If your job at the wine bar doesn't work out, you can always get a job at the Hungarian restaurant. Just throw yourself in front of a train and work as goulash.
David has a lifelong dream of one day being able to follow the lyrical instructions in the House of Pain song, Jump Around.
Although Tamas's hip was corrected with surgery, he fears of getting more disabled. But no matter what happens, I can assure you, you won't land in a wheelchair, because for sitting in a wheelchair, you have to actually be able to bend your knees. Good luck doing that with your arthritis.
Okay, we ended it on a low note.
That was the third round! One too many jokes, but it's still fun. Judges, what do you guys think?
I'll pretend to last.
Actually, first, I do want to say, sorry, and I'm going to start with Luke this time just so it's a different person each time. But also, I want to first say, wasn't that fun? Woo! Really good. I did not expect that from either of them. So, I'm a good friend. Now, Luke, what do you think?
Well, I thought overall you were both brilliant, but David managed to squeeze Death of a Grandmother and a wrinkly cock into one joke. Followed it up with a Holocaust joke and then a cannibalism joke. I think I award that round to David. Well done.
Alright, so that's one for David. Jack, what do you think? Actually, okay, look, you haven't been deciding vote yet.
I had David for that too. I just ignored the last two jokes.
So, Jack, you're also not going to be the deciding vote still.
Sorry for that, Jack.
No, that's
but yeah, David won that round, even though they both petered out at the end.
Alright, and Jack, what's your relevant opinion?
Honestly, if you could both lose the roast battle for that last round, shame on both of you.
I love so much that Tamas was like, I'm going to kill him with this setup. Your turn.
It's been said, it'll be said again. Wrinkly circumcision, followed by Arbeit macht frei.
So that's what fun, is it?
I don't know, I was never there. But that happened a long time ago, Reggie.
Unfortunately, you weren't.
But David definitely won that for me.
Alright, so that is 3 votes for David. You could have a good fight, though. David!
Unlike you.